There is a belief many men carry quietly, a belief that grows stronger with time, the belief that age itself creates attraction, that years lived automatically translate into presence, that experience naturally becomes confidence, that maturity by default commands interest, and on the surface this belief feels reasonable, because age does change things. It removes chaos, it removes urgency, it removes some of the insecurity that younger men struggle with. But here is the truth most men never confront. Age does not create attraction. It only reveals what was already there. If a man was grounded in his 30s, age sharpens him. If a man was uncertain, age exposes him. Time does not polish insecurity. It magnifies it. This is why two men of the same age can walk into the same room and receive completely different reactions without saying a word. One feels calm, settled, solid. The other feels tense, performative, heavy. The difference is not how long they've lived. It's how they've integrated that life. Most men misunderstand what younger women are responding to. They assume attraction is logical. That younger women look at older men and think in terms of stability, resources, life experience, security, but attraction does not begin in logic. It begins in emotion and perception. Younger women don't ask, "What has this man built?" They feel, "How does this man feel to be around?" That feeling is immediate, and it is ruthless in its honesty, because the body responds faster than the mind can rationalize. Here's the uncomfortable part. Many older men carry unresolved tension about their age, not openly, not consciously, but internally. They carry thoughts like, "I should be further ahead. I need to justify myself. I can't afford to mess this up. I don't have as much time." That internal pressure does not stay internal, it leaks. It leaks into tone, into pacing, into posture, into the way they listen and respond. And younger women feel that leakage immediately, not as judgment, but as discomfort. This is why attraction often collapses silently, not because the man said something wrong, but because his presence felt misaligned. When a man carries his age as a burden, others feel it as weight. When he carries it as something settled, others feel it as safety. Age is not the advantage. Integration is. Many men believe attraction is something you add, more confidence, more charisma, more effort, but attraction is usually about removal. Removing tension, removing need, removing the impulse to prove. The older a man becomes, the more important this removal is, because expectations increase with age. A younger man can be nervous and forgiven. An older man is expected to be anchored. When he isn't, the disconnect is felt instantly. This is why younger women often pull away without explanation. They are not rejecting the man. They are responding to the state he carries. A state of quiet urgency, subtle insecurity, internal negotiation. Attraction cannot grow in negotiation. It grows in stillness. Stillness does not mean silence. It means internal calm. A man who is internally calm does not rush, does not push, does not grip outcomes. He allows moments to unfold, and that allowance is rare, which makes it attractive. Most men never reach this stage, not because they can't, but because they are still trying to use their age instead of embody it. They talk about experience instead of letting it shape their behavior. They explain maturity instead of demonstrating it. They highlight stability instead of living from it. And the moment a man tries to leverage his age, he loses its power, because leverage implies dependence, and dependence kills attraction. A truly mature man does not need age to work for him. Age works through him, in his pacing, in his restraint, in his emotional economy. He does not react quickly. He does not speak excessively. He does not explain himself into relevance. He simply is, and presence like that cannot be ignored. This is where the shift begins. Not in behavior, not in tactics, but in identity. When a man stops asking, "How do I make this work?" and starts living from, "I am already settled," attraction stops being something he chases. It becomes something that responds. Most men believe attraction is lost at a visible moment. A rejection, a cold response, a conversation that suddenly ends. But attraction rarely ends that way. In reality, attraction dies long before rejection ever appears. It dies quietly, privately, internally. And by the time a man notices distance, the decision has already been made. This is why so many men are confused. They replay conversations in their mind. They analyze what they said. They look for mistakes in words. But the real cause was never verbal. It was emotional. Attraction is not a decision. It is a response. One of the most important things to understand about attraction is this: attraction is not chosen. It is felt. People don't decide to feel drawn. They respond to an internal signal. That signal is not logical. It is not deliberate. It is not conscious. It is the body's response to emotional information. This is why attraction can disappear even when nothing wrong happens, because the body does not care about correctness. It cares about alignment. Emotional perception comes first before a word is processed. The nervous system has already reacted. Before meaning is understood, tone has already been felt. Before intention is analyzed, presence has already been read. This happens in seconds, and once the nervous system registers discomfort, attraction begins to shut down. Not aggressively, not dramatically, but defensively. What women feel before they think. Younger women, especially, tend to notice emotional texture more than content. They feel, is this interaction relaxed or tense? Does this man feel settled or pressured? Is there openness here or expectation? They are not asking these questions consciously. Their body is answering them automatically. If the answers signal tension, attraction retracts, not because the man is bad, but because tension feels unsafe. The role of safety in attraction requires safety, not physical safety, not logical safety, emotional safety. Emotional safety means no pressure to respond a certain way, no need to perform, no urgency to meet expectations. When a man brings emotional pressure into an interaction, even subtly, safety collapses. And without safety, desire cannot exist. Pressure does not need to be obvious. Most men think pressure looks like neediness, clinging, begging, over-texting. But pressure is often far quieter. It appears as over-attentiveness, excessive politeness, rushing connection, emotional investment. Too early pressure is not about behavior. It's about intent. Intent leaks. How intent leaks into presence. A man who wants an outcome brings that one into the room, even if he says nothing. It shows up in slightly elevated energy, faster speech, reduced silence, increased explanation. None of these are dramatic, but together they create weight. And emotional weight suffocates attraction. The moment interest turns into evaluation, here's a critical shift most men never notice. Attraction dies the moment interaction turns into evaluation. When a woman feels she is being assessed for chemistry, compatibility, interest, or response, the emotional field changes. She stops feeling. She starts monitoring. Monitoring is not attraction. Monitoring is defense. And defense shuts desire down quietly. Why trying to connect often backfires. Many men think they are deepening connection by asking personal questions too soon, steering conversation toward meaning, sharing vulnerability prematurely. But depth requires permission. Without permission, depth feels invasive. Attraction grows from shared unfolding, not forced intimacy. When a man tries to accelerate closeness, he introduces pressure. Pressure always kills curiosity. The cost of rushing is not about speed. It's about impatience with the present. A man who rushes is signaling, this moment isn't enough. That signal feels rejecting, because it implies the present interaction lacks value. Attraction grows when the present moment is allowed to be sufficient. Why explanation is often a mistake. Many men try to prevent misunderstanding by explaining themselves. They clarify intentions. They justify actions. They soften statements. But explanation often signals insecurity. It says, I want to control how I'm perceived. Attraction does not grow under control, it grows under confidence in ambiguity. A grounded man does not rush to be understood. He allows meaning to form naturally. The role of silence in attraction. Silence is not empty. Silence is revealing. Silence exposes whether a man trusts his presence. A man who is comfortable in silence signals, "I don't need to fill space to matter." That confidence is felt immediately. A man who rushes to fill silence signals discomfort, and discomfort spreads. Attraction responds to stillness. Stillness is rare. Most people are internally noisy. They rehearse. They evaluate. They anticipate. A still man stands out not because he demands attention, but because he does not chase it. His calm slows the room, and when the room slows, attraction has space to emerge. Why attraction fails silently? Attraction fails silently because it is never announced. There is no warning, no explanation, no feedback. The body withdraws before the mind understands why, and by the time words appear, the emotional decision is already final. This is why men are often shocked by rejection. They never saw attraction leaving, because it left before language was involved. The hardest truth to accept here is the hardest truth for most men. Attraction is not something you convince someone into. It either emerges or it doesn't. And it emerges only when pressure is absent, presence is strong, stillness is felt. This is not about being passive. It's about being internally settled. Why older men feel this loss more deeply as men age, expectations rise. Youth is forgiven for uncertainty. Age is expected to carry stability. When an older man shows tension, it feels incongruent. That incongruence creates discomfort, not judgment, discomfort. And discomfort is fatal to attraction. The invisible decision. Most attraction decisions are made silently, without words, without conscious reasoning, without closure. This is why the work is internal, not performative, not strategic. Internal alignment changes external response. The shift that stops attraction from dying. When a man stops trying to create attraction and starts allowing connection, everything changes. His energy softens, his timing improves, his presence deepens. He stops chasing response and starts inhabiting the moment. Attraction does not need to be chased, it needs space. Every man carries an invisible structure inside him. Most never see it, most never question it, but everyone around him feels it. This structure is called inner frame. It is not confidence in the loud sense. It is not charisma. It is not how well a man speaks or how impressive his life appears. Inner frame is the position a man holds internally about himself, especially when he is being seen. It answers one question continuously, even when no one asks it out loud. Where do I stand? And the way a man answers that question internally determines how the world responds to him. Inner frame is always communicating. A man can say very little and still communicate everything. Because inner frame does not rely on words. It leaks through. Pace, stillness, eye contact, reaction time, comfort with silence, emotional restraint. You cannot hide it. You can manage behavior. You cannot fake orientation. This is why attraction feels mysterious to many men. They focus on what they did, while the real decision happened at a level beneath action. The two fundamental frames at the core. Most men operate from one of two frames. Frame 1, I am already enough. Frame 2, I need this to go well. Everything flows from this. The first frame creates ease. The second creates pressure, and pressure is always felt. Why needing it to go well is so damaging. When a man needs an interaction to go a certain way, he is no longer present. He is future-focused. He is monitoring reactions. He is adjusting himself. He is negotiating his value in real time. This creates internal noise, and internal noise makes presence unstable. Attraction does not respond to instability. The subtle signs of a fragile frame. A fragile frame does not look weak. It often looks polished. It looks like over-explaining, over-clarifying, excessive politeness, emotional overinvestment, avoidance of disagreement, fear of silence. None of these are dramatic. but together they signal something unmistakable. The man is managing perception instead of inhabiting himself. Why management KILLS attraction management implies risk. If you are managing how you're seen, it means you fear being rejected. Fear tightens behavior. Tight behavior feels unsafe, and unsafe environments shut attraction down immediately. Not consciously, not cruelly, automatically. The inner judge that never stops speaking. Most men have an internal judge running quietly in the background. It asks, was that the right thing to say? Did I come across well? Did I lose ground? Should I recover this moment? This judge believes it is protecting the man. In reality, it is sabotaging him. Because the more a man listens to this judge, the less present he becomes. And presence is the foundation of attraction. Why older men struggle more with frame as men age, expectations increase. They are expected to be settled, grounded, sure. When an older man still carries internal negotiation, the contrast is felt sharply. It feels incongruent, and incongruence creates discomfort. Younger men can be uncertain and forgiven. Older men are expected to be anchored. When they are not, attraction collapses quickly. Frame is not built through achievement. Many men believe inner frame comes from success, money, status, experience, recognition. But these things do not build frame, they test it. If a man has a solid frame, success enhances him. If he does not, success exposes fragility. Because success gives a man more to lose, and fear of loss weakens frame. The difference between confidence and center confidence is situational. Center is permanent. A man can feel confident in familiar environments and completely lose himself in new ones. Center does not change with environment. A centered man does not need reassurance. He does not need to perform. He does not need to rush outcomes. He trusts himself to exist without validation. That trust is rare, and rarity attracts. How inner frame shapes reactions when a man is centered. Rejection does not shake him. Silence does not threaten him. Disagreement does not provoke him when a man lacks center. Rejection feels personal. Silence feels awkward. Disagreement feels destabilizing. Attraction responds to the first. It withdraws from the second. The Stoic root of strong frame. Stoicism teaches a simple principle. Control what is yours. Release what is not. Your actions are yours. Your presence is yours. Your responses are yours. Other people's reactions are not. A man with a stoic frame does not try to control outcomes. He controls his inner state. That is real power. Why external validation weakens. Internal frame validation feels good, but dependence on it creates fragility. The more a man needs affirmation, the more his frame becomes externally anchored. External anchors are unstable. They shift. They disappear. They change. A man anchored externally is always adjusting. Adjustment kills presence. The paradox of an attachment. When a man stops needing approval, he becomes more appealing. Not because he is distant, but because he is free. Freedom creates ease. Ease creates openness. Openness allows attraction to breathe. This is why the most attractive men often seem unconcerned. They are not indifferent, they are settled. The moment frame shifts frame shifts when a man stops asking, "How do I appear?" and starts living from, "I am already positioned." This does not require arrogance, it requires acceptance. Acceptance of your age, your history, your current place in life. Resistance creates tension. Acceptance creates grounding. Why stillness is a signal of frame. Stillness is not inactivity. It is internal quiet. A still man is not frozen. He is responsive. He does not react impulsively. He does not fill space unnecessarily. He does not rush to prove relevance. His calm becomes the signal. Inner frame is felt in the body. Frame is not intellectual. It lives in the body. In posture, in breath, in muscle tension, in eye movement. A centered man occupies his body fully. A fragile man floats above himself, watching, correcting, adjusting. Attraction responds to embodiment. The cost of living without frame. A man without a solid frame lives in reaction. He reacts to approval. He reacts to rejection. He reacts to silence. He is never at rest.